Right now, the world has what you might consider to be an energy conundrum. The move away from fossil fuels is occurring faster than the power industry's ability to add renewable energy sources to the grid. And this doesn't even take into account the necessary upgrades to transmission lines, power distribution stations, and cybersecurity. Enter nuclear power. From its place in the industry as an ugly duckling over the last 40 years, its time may have come to be the beautiful swan. And to be blunt, I don't know how I feel about this. Here's the thing about the utility industry. The utility industry, whether you are building a coal-fired power plant, a natural gas power plant, or a nuclear power plant, has a long lead time to build. They anticipate costs and operational costs and a lifespan, usually anywhere from 20 to 40 years. In the case of a nuclear power plant, it has an additional layer of having to be licensed and get a unique license from the Nuclear Power Commission. That's typically a 40-year license, and there's a reason for 40 years, by the way, and so on. So now, here we are. Climate change is causing challenges. Part of those challenges is that as we look at responding to climate change and as these plants get older, the power companies are saying, okay, we've got to migrate to renewable energy. This coal-fired plant, this nuclear plant is at the end of its life. In order to get an extension, even if the utility commissions want me to extend it, it's going to cost the utility millions of dollars. Because when you get to the end of its life, it costs a lot of money to keep it going. It's not just a matter of, okay, we're just not going to turn it off. No. In the case of nuclear power plants, you're talking about the core that actually keeps the reaction from becoming a runaway. In one case of one nuclear power plant that they want to decommission, they have found cracks in that graphite core. The cracks, and this is in Great Britain, these cracks are not repairable. And it's ironic because for some reason in the UK, this particular type of nuclear plant, they're the only ones in the world that use it. This particular kind of a construction.
I'm surprised because most use the same kind.
Except in Great Britain. This one has to come off the line because there are cracks. If that graphite core fails, there is nothing to stop the thermal reaction, and you get another 3 Mile Island. You get a runaway, which has very nasty consequences for the environment and life and safety.
Yeah, because I got to say, if people do seem to be big on, nuclear, whenever you bring up, I think people that are hesitant on solar and wind and batteries and EVs are all like, nuclear. And, we've been open to it here. We've talked about it in depth. But, I am inclined to trust some of the people who are saying like we can't fix or, repair these and the danger outweighs the pros.
Challenge is nuclear waste. Where are you going to store it? Because it's not something that goes away in 3, 5, or 10 years. You're looking at maybe a 50 or 100 years minimum that you're going to have to store this stuff and maintain it in a safe environment. Where's that going and how are you going to transport it? That's number one. Number two, yes, it costs less money to refurbish a nuclear plant than to bring on a brand new plant from scratch. But number three, all that talent, all that the repair and the operators and all that stuff has waxed and waned because of nuclear power falling out of favor over these years. You don't have the people necessary to do what needs to be done. And if you're a utility and you're a responsible steward of the investor's money or the ratepayers' money, the question is, do I spend $5, $10, $20 million to run it what? Another year? Another 2 years? I need to go to the Federal Energy Commission to extend my license. That the state utility got to extend my license to operate the plant. And I need to know how many years that's going to be in order to figure out whether or not spending all this money to repair or upgrade the plant. And bear in mind, any of that stuff that I need to repair or replace will probably have to be specially fabricated because there isn't the talent anymore or the plants or the knowledge anymore to build it. There's nobody building this stuff that you can pull off the shelf and call, Grainger and say, I need. No. And you're looking at some serious lead times. and some serious money. And the power plants and the power companies are being caught in the middle. If they want to go green, or if they've been going green because of the pandemic and climate change, where they're looking at millions of dollars, they know, okay, I'm going to take these plants offline. Well, the utility commissions are saying, yeah, we need these plants for base load. And base load is no matter what happens, this is the minimum power generation you can count on if wind is not blowing and the sun is not shining to still meet demand. And it gets worse. Climate change makes it worse because more extreme weather, more extreme heat, cold, rain, whatever, increases the demand for power. So here we are. We're in a conundrum. And in some cases, the utility commissions are forcing the companies to run these plants. So who's liable? If you won't give me an extended license to run the plant so I can spend the money, know I'm going to make my money back, and that plant fails catastrophically, who's liable? Is the utility commission that would not guarantee me 10 years, 20 years? Are the feds are responsible? Because I'm going to get sued.
Yeah.
I'm going to absolutely get sued.
I just read an article recently about one of the the construction of the main nuclear plant, that the first design of nuclear plants that came out, Ken, and the guy who created it. A big book came out recently, and one of the bylines, one of the people said about reading this is, if you're a nuclear plant owner in whatever country and you read this book about how most people took on this format of nuclear plant, once you read this book, you'd be scared beyond, because how little they knew about, because this has to be precise machinery, like I said, and how little they knew about failures. We just went forward with it. We kind of just guessed our way, stumbling through something with nuclear waste and the effects, and we had no idea. We kind of just blindfolded.
We're still guessing, because most of what they knew was from World War II and what they learned about making an atom bomb and that kind of information. That's what you really had. Now here we are with climate change making everything worse. How safe is a nuclear plant that's been in service 40 years? Or if the Nuclear Regulatory Commission extended it 60 years. And they're talking about some plants, they want to extend the life to 80 years. Remember, average life, standard life is 40. They want to double it. I'm a little concerned. I got questions.
Yeah, me too.
I understand.
Especially when you could just go crazy with solar and wind. You could just...
you can, but everything takes time to ramp up.
I know.
That's the problem.
But I'm not worried about toxic sludge coming out of...
But you still got to ramp up renewable energy. Yeah. Mid-American Energy is right in the middle of a problem because they want to add solar and they want to add wind, but there's getting some pushback because they said from their major users, we're not sure that you're doing this either to make money or whatever, and we need some more information because you got studies on your coal plants that we need to see.
They've been hesitant on solar. They've been hesitant on solar.
Yeah, so they want to know, is this for safety or not?
In the quest for your attention in dashboard space, it's Apple versus the automakers. We are Roadworthy Drive.